Welcome to Meeple Mentor. I'm Jared, and we're about to play Viticulture World. Let's take a look. I'll show you how. Feel free to pause the video as needed to follow along with your copy of the game. Viticulture World is the cooperative expansion to Viticulture and is a new way to play, but still requires the core game. The Tuscany expansion is compatible with it, but not required, as are the More Visitors and Visit from the Rhine Valley expansions. I'll be teaching you in this video the necessary rule changes to play the cooperative game, assuming you've already played Viticulture and know the standard game. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell below the video so you don't miss any of my latest content. In Viticulture World, cooperate with members of your extended winemaking family in various different regions around the world, trying to gain global recognition for your craft. You must be able to balance managing your own vineyard with the combined efforts of your fellow winemakers to gain influence with the region. There are 7 continent regions you can operate in with their own unique events and influence objectives. Each action and action space can be upgraded in the game, but you must also train your workers to use them. New components, new cards, and a new board all add to this new cooperative experience that builds on what you've done already in the Viticulture game series. Work in the region cooperatively for 6 years and see how you did. You'll either win together or lose together. So now let's take a look further at how to set up the game. To prepare for your first co-op game, you should look for and remove the following small cards from the game. They are replaced with new black bordered ones. The white copies can be removed from the game entirely and won't be needed. Whenever drawing a black bordered card during the co-op game, discard it and redraw. Those card effects aren't compatible with Viticulture World. New Mamas and Papas cards are included and offer male and female options on blue and red cards to provide new pairings for setting up. These red and blue setup cards can be shuffled together with the previous cards you have. However, 2 cards aren't compatible with the co-op game, Papa Raphael and Papa Gary. Set those aside for the co-op game. Use the new Viticulture World game board and place it in the middle of the table. If you're using the Tuscany expansion and the structure cards, use that side of the game board. Otherwise, flip it over. Shuffle each of the colored Viticulture cards like normal and place them out on the game board on their indicated spots. The new wake-up chart is a pocket watch found at the bottom left of the new board. Place the gray temporary worker on its spot on this chart. Place the green grape token over on the right of the board for tracking the years. Put it on 1. It will move on this during the game to track the 6 years before the game ends. Put the money and grape wine tokens next to the board in a general supply. Also, shuffle the new innovation tiles into face-down stacks. There's rectangular ones and oval ones. However, there are 2 tiles only used in solo games. H star and N star should be removed if not playing solo. The group will now need to choose a continent to play with. They are ranked with varying difficulty levels, if you want to choose based on that. The first recommended region to try is Green Gully. Check page 2 of the rulebook for the difficulty ranking recommended if you want to slowly increase the difficulty game by game. Collect all the cards for the continent and put the event token by the game board. Read the story card for the continent out loud and set it aside. Then read the special setup card and special rules for this continent out loud, following all directions. Then set these aside. To create the event deck, you can either do the recommended first game method or variable events method. For the first game method, simply gather and order event cards 1 through 6 into a stack and place it face down on the event spot. Return the rest of the event cards to the game box. For variable events, shuffle all of them together and create a deck of 6 random cards. Place the pink Maple Leaf Influence token on the influence track below the victory point board according to your player count. Now players should choose their color components and vineyard boards like a normal game. Put all your pieces next to your vineyard mat and put your 3 field cards on it like normal. The special workers that were added with Tuscany are not compatible with Viticulture World, so you can return those components and cards to the game box. Remove one regular worker from your pieces back to the game box. Attach 2 yellow and 2 blue hats to your 4 regular workers. Everyone starts with 1 grande worker and all 4 of these workers, regardless of what the starting red and blue cards say. Everyone places their residual payment token in the center of the residual payment tracker and their victory point token on the start space of the victory point track. The victory points in the game represent your reputation. Shuffle the blue and red cards separately and deal 1 of each to each player. Everyone gains what's shown on the cards like normal. With the new cards in the game, it's now possible to have homosexual pairings instead of always having 1 man and 1 woman starting card. You're now set up and ready to play. The game plays through 6 years of play, with the grape token moving on its track at the end of each year. In order to win together, each player will need to have at least 25 points at the end, and the influence marker must reach the end of the influence track. If a player overachieves on the point track and gets to 30, they gain 1 influence for the group. Each player can do this only once during the game. There are some general notes about the gameplay to cover before going into the new actions. Firstly, you can decide to play the game with player cards as open or closed information. Decide at the start and stick with it. We're talking the visitors, wine orders, grapes, and structure cards in your hand. Since it's a cooperative game, any cards on visitor or structure cards that reference opponents simply now refers to your fellow players. Additionally, at the end of the year, you can only keep 5 cards in your hand, not 7. Each action space on the printed board has 2 action spaces, except the year-round $1 action space like normal. For the rest of the actions, in a 2 to 3 player game, only the first space is available. You can see a reminder about this printed on the bottom of the board. During the game, the innovation tiles can be added to the spaces, either improving the action or offering bonuses on the action spaces via the ovals innovations. The bonuses shown on the ovals are only gained for workers that are trained. The grande worker and gray temporary worker are always considered trained. Your starting 4 regular workers with hats on them are seasonal workers and not trained. When going to an oval action with a trained worker, you may gain the printed bonus before or after doing the associated action. The other big benefit of these ovals on the action spaces is they eliminate the limited action spaces, turning them into spots that any number of workers can occupy. The seasonal workers with the hats are limited to working in their own season, indicated by the color of their hat. Or, of course, they can occupy the year-round spaces like the yoke on your mat, structure card action spaces, certain Green Gully event cards, and the $1 catch-all spot. Other than those, the 2 summer workers can only be placed in spaces in the summer season actions, while the 2 winter workers can only be placed in spots in the winter actions. Once trained, those workers can be placed anywhere. Instead of hiring new workers in the game, you get to remove one of their hats to indicate they are now trained and may now gain bonuses on the new oval innovations. Your grande worker keeps his normal game ability of being able to go to an action that is full. However, he also now has a new trading ability that applies when going to a space where at least one other player's worker is present. The trade overview is printed on the game board for a reminder of how this works. You may make one trade with one player who also has a worker there. You can either give one type of a thing and or take one type of thing among the 5 options. It can be any number of grape cards or wine order cards, any amount of money, or any number of structure cards if using Tuscany expansion. If trading grapes or wine, you are limited to giving or receiving 1 grape or 1 wine in a trade. If both players give something to each other in the trade, they could be different types of things. To make the trade, both players must agree on the trade. The trade could be one way and the other player not receive something if you choose. There are a few new icons on the board that you may see as well. They are overviewed on page 3 of the rulebook. The arrow over a grape icon means you can age 1 grape, increasing its value once. The arrow on a wine icon lets you increase one of your wine's value 1 time in your cellar. The icon with 3 people on it means the effect applies to all players, including you. Lastly, when you see the leaf icon, you should advance the influence marker 1 spot to the right on its track. Now let's talk about the spaces on the new board, especially the ones new to the cooperative game. Again, I'm assuming you already know how to play the normal game of viticulture. The first season is the spring, but there's no worker action spaces to go here. Instead, do these 3 steps in order. First, reveal 1 event card off the top of the deck and read the historical flavor text, followed by the gameplay effect. Keep it face up next to the deck. The card applies for the current year only. If the effect of the card modifies a specific action on the board, place the event token on that action to remind everyone of the modification. Second, reveal new innovation tiles. Any of the 4 tiles that are sitting on the board here are discarded out of the game. Then 2 new innovation tiles of each type are revealed here face up. These are the ones available to be built this year. Lastly, look at the wake-up positions on the pocket watch. Players discuss freely and decide collectively where to place their wake-up markers. Each player will need to put their rooster on any unoccupied position of the outer ring and immediately gain the benefit. Only 1 player per position. The chart will also determine player order for the worker placement seasons, summer and winter. The first position is this one with the green grape card bonus, and follow clockwise for turn order around. After gaining the bonuses, move on to the summer season. In turn order, players can place a worker on an action space or pass. The year-round spaces are always available. The summer workers, trained workers, and grande worker can be used to take actions in the summer area of the board. Take turns placing 1 worker at a time or passing. There are 2 new actions here to look at, different than the base game's board. At Action G, you get to exchange one of these 4 things for another. This is also found on the Tuscany board. You can discard 2 cards, spend $3, spend a grape token, or lose 1 point to gain 2 cards, $3, grape token, or a victory point. You could choose to discard 2 cards and draw 2 cards from the same or different decks, by the way. At Action H, you can pay $4 to select one of the innovation tiles on the left side of the board set up for this year and place it on the board. This permanently upgrades the action. The rectangular tiles must go on the corresponding action as labeled by the letters. Action space F lets you buy or sell a grape token. The grape costs what is shown on the row in your crush pad. When buying one, put it in the leftmost spot in that row. The oval tiles can go on any oval spot on the board available that doesn't already have an oval tile. Any workers presently there move to sit on top of the new tile. They don't gain the bonus or take the action again. When you cover a benefit on the action space, gain it. Some of the benefits gain something for all players. If you see a red outline over a cost there, you must pay that as well to put it there. The oval tiles that have an arrow on them must be aligned so the line under it aligns with the bottom of the board. The arrows are a special bonus that point to adjacent bonuses, but the arrows don't wrap around the board. You'll gain the bonus of the oval tile next to it, but only if there's one there. Arrows can point at arrows, which then cascade off each other to one actual bonus tile. Once you've passed your turn from summer, you move into the fall season and do the following steps in order. First, move your rooster into the corresponding inner ring position on the wake-up chart. The player order stays the same. Choose one of the shown benefits in it and wait for all other players to pass as well. The center benefits possible are to gain $2, draw 1 card of any type, or age one of your grape tokens. Lastly, if you have built a cottage on your vineyard mat, draw a visitor card. After everyone's finished with fall, you'll be able to place workers in the winter season action spaces or pass on your turn. Most of the actions are the same as in the base game, with the following extras. Action space L is the train a worker action. Since you start the game with all the possible workers, this action instead lets you remove a hat from one of your seasonal workers for $4. You can even train the one used to take this action. The hat returns to the game box, and this worker is now considered trained. It may now be used in any season and has the ability to gain the bonus shown on any oval tile it's placed on. Action O lets you sell 1 wine token from your cellar. Gain money equal to its wine value in the cellar. Action P is the new influence action unique to Viticulture World. Pay $8 to gain 1 influence on the track, moving the token forward once. This is the most basic way to gain influence on the track, but the other ways involve the region's event cards. The designer recommended you to try to gain 3 to 5 influence from events cards during the game. Most of the steps of ending each year is the same as in the base game. However, when passing out of winter, you should discard down to 5 cards in your hand. Once all players have passed, advance the Green Grapes Year token. At the end of the 6th year, check to see if you met both of the victory conditions to win. All players must have reached or exceeded 25 points, and the influence token must be at the end of the influence track. Players will win together or lose together, collectively basking in the glory of achieving global recognition or falling into obscurity. Viticulture World can be played solo by using an AI player named Buratino. The AI gets his own workers to occupy action spaces and will buy innovation tiles and gain influence. He will help complete events and be able to trade with you. It will play similar to a 2-player game, but Buratino follows his own rule set. Place the influence marker on the spot labeled Solo. Put the Action H overlay tile on space H on the board. Replace the innovation tiles H and N with the starred ones meant for solo play. Place the trade overlay tile on the bottom of the board. Your vineyard mat is set up like normal for a game of Viticulture World. For Buratino, give him 8 regular workers in unused colors. Put his victory point marker on the 25-point position. Find his special solo cards from the box and shuffle them to form a face-down Buratino deck. The solo rulebook on the back indicates some special setup or special rules to apply for each continent. Depending on which region you're playing with, he may have 1 or 2 special rules. Take a look at that before starting your game. Buratino is considered a player but follows his own rules. Whenever he is to make a decision, you make it for him. Buratino has his own supply of money and only gains money when drawing his card, giving him $3 per season. Alternatively, you can trade with him to give him money. He also keeps a hand of 4 cards, or 5 if using the Structures deck, but he'll never use them. As you play visitor cards that involve other players, he doesn't gain or lose anything. If you're supposed to give him something, just discard it. Also, he'll never give you anything directly. You get to decide on some cards whether Buratino has certain components or does something as directed on a card. He can ignore all requirements. You get to decide for Buratino if he participates in an event. If you choose that he does the event, he ignores the requirements and instead pays $4 to fulfill it. Other than gaining influence, he doesn't gain anything from completing events. The trading ability of you using your Grande worker on spaces where it has workers is altered slightly. You may either trade any number of cards from your hand with the same number of cards from his, or age a grape on your crush pad once and optionally change its color, or age a wine in your cellar, also optionally changing its type, or lastly, take $1 from him or give him $1. Buratino has special rules to follow during the seasons and will move from season to season when you do. During the spring, you can't choose the same bonus you chose the previous year. During the fall, don't move your rooster to the inner ring. You will still collect a fall bonus though. In the summer and winter, the first step is to draw a Buratino card from his deck and give him $3. The 8 ovals on his card represent the actions available in the current season. Place one of his workers on each of the indicated spaces on the board for that season. He won't gain anything. If you want to make one of these spaces available for you to use, he can pay $2 to the supply to retrieve one of his workers. He can do it multiple times. At actions H and P, he can do them once during the season by paying the money without placing a worker. He must use his own money collected for this payment. When you use these actions, you may use yours and his money in any combination to pay the costs. If Buratino places an oval out on a space with a placement cost, he pays from his own money. If either you or Buratino put an oval out covering a space with a benefit, only you gain it. If Buratino uses the upgraded innovation tiles for H and P, he receives the discount. When he does action P upgraded, you don't get a free structure. At the end of the year, during the discard card step, also discard as many cards as you want from the AI's hand. Draw new ones for him one at a time, choosing a type he doesn't already have. Do this until his hand is full up again at 4 or 5 if playing with the structures. That's pretty much all there is to the solo game, but you are able to change the difficulty level. I've just described the standard difficulty mode. To go one level easier, called Demi, you have no restriction to the wake-up track. You are allowed to choose the same bonus year after year. Looking at increasing the difficulty, the first step up is called Magnum. You can only choose each wake-up spring bonus once. At the start and setup, place a grape token on each bonus to keep track. When you place your rooster there, discard the token. The next level of difficulty is Double Magnum. Do the same as the Magnum rules, plus don't place the Action H overlay tile out on the board during setup. And don't use the Buratino H Innovation tile, use the standard one. The next difficulty level is the Imperial. Instead of placing the influence token on the position marked for solo, place it 2 spaces to the left. The hardest difficulty is Salmanazar. The game ends after 5 years instead of 6. Keep the rulebook handy and check BoardGameGeek.com for FAQs and extra content. The Meeple Mentor channel is now part of the board game community, the Gateway Network, made up of great upcoming board game content creators. The network includes Instagrammers, podcasters, YouTubers, artists, and more. Head to thegatewaynetwork.com to support new and independent board gamers. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Like and subscribe if you found this teaching helpful. Stick around to watch another Learn to Play video. And remember, teach when you can, but always be learning. See you next time.